Y'all, so y'all remember this little picture up here when I was like, prepare to be sick on me because of my birthday and my due date might be on the same day? Well, needless to say, that was not the case because guess who gave birth in the back of a Nissan Rogue on March 24th, 2022? This girl here. Y'all, so my water broke on March 24th about 2:45, but I didn't know that was my water breaking. I thought it was just like some discharge or something like that, because I was like, I don't know, this seemed a little extra moisturization than normal, but I'm gonna just play it out because I was on my way to my midwife appointment in the first place. So y'all, I get to my midwife and she tells me, oh, this actually is amniotic fluid. Like, sis, your baby is coming today. I'm like, baby, what? Now, mind y'all, the original plan was for me to give birth in a pool at home, and I did not want to go to the hospital for my own personal reasons or whatever, right? But turns out, because of high blood pressure and all the things, my midwife was like, try to go to the hospital anyway, just to be on the safe side, right? So y'all, I left my appointment with her, and right when I left my appointment with her, that's when my contractions started happening. Now, I live in Stockbridge. My midwife is in Decatur. This was about 5 something on a weekday, going down 675, and I'm stuck in traffic. 30 minutes of labor pains, and it is kicking in. You hear me? Now, y'all, them bad boys wasn't no joke. I ain't even for not finna flex. I'm over here saying scripture to myself. I'm over here telling my husband to put gospel music on, try to keep my mind clear. But y'all, they were getting so intense. My midwife told me, she was like, you have time to go home. They're not that close, so go home, grab your labor bag, and just head to the hospital, right? We thought we had time. We ain't had time. We get to the house, and that's when the labor is official. It is what it is. Like, my baby girl is about to come trucking through this world. You hear me? Like, it was just terrible. I'm screaming bloody murder. Oh my gosh, all the stuff my doula taught me, I was just like, it was going out of my one ear out the other. I was like, I can't do this no more. Somebody give me drugs. I don't care. I don't want to do this anymore. Forget a physiological birth. Just give me what I need. I don't care. But thankfully, my husband did not listen to me because he knew exactly what I wanted. So it took a lot, but he finally got me in the car, right? So this is where it gets good, y'all. So he gets me in the car so we can finally head to the hospital. Now, I'm like, take me to the nearest hospital. Take me to the nearest hospital, because the hospital we were going to was further. And next thing you know, I'm still screaming bloody murder. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can't do this because we still got a ways to go, and it's still traffic. At this time, it's like 6:15 in the afternoon. Y'all know how Atlanta traffic is. So y'all, next thing you know, y'all, it get to a point where I feel like I got to push. Y'all, I pull my pants down and I'm like, babe, something's about to happen. I can't do this. So y'all, I'm in the back seat, low key, almost face down, booted up, but I wasn't face down, booted up per se. Like, I'm right here in the spot, y'all. I was holding on to this and my butt is facing this way. My poor husband, he had booty all in his ear. He don't like that, but anyways, he had booty all, look at it. You had booty in your face.
Yeah, I did.
Anyways, he had booty all up in his face. This car, I don't know what it smelled like, but it smelled like labor and delivery. Can I get a name in somebody? But anyways, so y'all, next thing you know, I let out a large, loud gush, and I caught my child in the back seat of this car right here. Like, I felt everything. Like, look at this, y'all. You see that? That is bananas.
So the day after I had my baby, I hadn't walked yet because my epidural wasn't wearing off for some reason. So the next morning, my day nurse comes in and she's like, hey, you have to use the restroom. So I'm like, okay. So my boyfriend knows that I lost a lot of blood and he knows I'm really weak after I had the baby. So he gets up and he decides to try to help me use the restroom. He's standing on the side of the bed and he basically just puts out 2 fingers on each hand, and I'm just going to grab them and he's going to make sure I don't fall while I walk over there. The nurse must have thought that this fool was going to roll out a red carpet and a throne, because she immediately turns around and she's like, why are you helping her? Do not spoil her. She can do it on her own. And she's like laughing. Like, why are you spoiling her like that? And my boyfriend's like, well, she hasn't walked since she had the baby, so I'm just trying to make sure like she gets over there good. Anyways, he just ignores her and he takes me to the restroom. I go to the restroom, I come back out. She's going on to talk about breastfeeding now, which is probably strike 2 on my part because I said I have no intention to breastfeed. So she looks at my boyfriend. She's like, you're not going to make her breastfeed? You don't want what's best for your child? And he's telling her like, well, it's her body and like it would just work out best for our schedule that she doesn't breastfeed. So after that, she's like, okay, and looks at me dead in the face and decides to just pop off. She starts telling me that I need to change if you guys can hear my child, she's just trying to go to the restroom. I swear she's not like crying and I'm just not paying any attention to her. But she starts telling me that I needed to change my priorities, that my baby comes first now, and that things aren't always going to be about me. She tells me that my boyfriend's only responsibility in this is that he's supposed to go to work and bring home food, and that was it. She also tells me that the reason he doesn't need to help me like use the restroom or make sure I'm okay is because when I have his next child, that I needed to be able to take care of my newborn and my toddler at the same time without him, because he's just like gonna go straight back to work. She honestly made me feel really bad about myself, but I think after this point, 5 days in labor, and to me it was my first baby, so I'm exhausted after having her. I just think I wasn't mentally in the right state to even like stick up for myself or say anything, and like it was so uncomfortable. But I did tell like my family. My family was like, oh my gosh, like you should like tell the hospital or something, but I'm just like not that kind of person. But I really hope that women don't think that they can't rely on someone when they have the support, whether it's your mom or your family or your boyfriend, whoever, your husband. It's okay to accept help, and it's okay not to be able to do it all on your own. And I just hope she doesn't influence like young girls into thinking like that's the case. But besides that, a lot of comical things did happen to me while having my baby, but this is just one of them.
Just a little backstory. Me and my niece, we're very, very close. I've raised her since birth, or helped raise her since birth. She stayed with me for a little bit, so it just gives you kind of an idea of how clingy she can be towards me. People have even mistaken us for mother and daughter, which we are not. She has a mother and a father, but it doesn't take away from that closeness, you know what I mean? Aunts and nieces, they have that bond. We got that bond, and it's just really, really strong. So she feels like when it's time for me to have a kid, or when it was time for me to have a kid, I would give her like that extra sibling or whatever, Now, mind you, I have other brothers and sisters. She has brothers and sisters, so she has plenty cousins and plenty brothers and sisters. She didn't need anything from me. But kids like to get greedy. And she said she was going to get a baby up out of me whether I liked it or not. And boy, did I try to call her bluff. So basically, to sum it up, my niece used to come over here last year every other week so that she could do her at-home learning when they weren't going into school for COVID. And basically, she stared at me one day, smiled, and she just kept looking at me and says, Annie, you're going to have a baby next year. And anybody who knows me knows I was like, Cap, I ain't having no kid for another 2 years. You can hang it up, sis, sorry. But little did I know that was going to change. Now, that was the first warning that she gave me. A couple months later, which ended up being a year ago from yesterday, she did this.
Do you have a name for your baby?
What baby are you talking about?
You're gonna have one next year. I just have a feeling in my bones.
Your bones ain't.
And that was just one of many occurrences that we had. She would continuously do this to me, all the way up until the point where I was pregnant. We were at Walgreens. She put her hand on my stomach and smiled and said, I think it's a baby in there now. I walked right over to the little family planning area, bought a test, and peed on it the same day. And guess what? Need I say more? I was so salty about it, y'all. I waited to tell her until like her birthday, which was in August, and I found out in July. But she was right, y'all. Y'all gotta start listening to these kids.
This happened many, many years ago, and parts of the story are going to be changed. No names are going to be used, blah, blah, blah. So when you work in a hospital, a lot of the times there's codes called over the PA, or it's like code blue. In this particular case, EMS, or emergency medical service, had called that they had a patient that was in labor. I'm an OBGYN, by the way. Did I say that? I don't know. But they called that a patient was in labor and about to deliver in the ambulance, and that they were en route. So everyone on L&D's like, we're getting ready. We're waiting literally by the elevator doors. And the EMS people come up, and one of the guys is holding a baby. And they had done the delivery, and it's like, sweet delivery. Baby looks good. Yay. And one of the other guys was like, hey, she keeps saying that something's coming out. And the other guy's like, no. Like, it's the placenta is like delivering, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, okay, but she's like, she's like screaming, and she's like, it's really painful. And we lift the sheets, and there's two little feet. Hello, friends. She had another baby. Twins. So obviously we're all, in the room, got her on the bed, and she delivers this next little baby, Breach. And it went great and all this stuff. But the moral of the story, if you work in emergency medicine or you're ever in a situation like that, always look. Because this was one of those situations where I didn't know I was pregnant, that show. And if someone's saying that they feel that something's not right, or they feel that something else is coming out, it could be another baby, everything was great. Everyone was great. And, we kind of laughed about it afterward and stuff, but it was definitely like those little feet. I'll never forget those little feet.